He was playing the fiend at the old Gao village of Koko, when the admonitions of the Bodhisattva and the power of the pilgrim caused him to become my disciple. He made his merit on our journey by toting the luggage and helping us to ford the waters. My third disciple has the surname of Sha, and his religious name is Wu Jing. Your subject also addresses him as Sha Monk. Originally, he was a fiend at the flowing sand river. Again, the admonitions of the Bodhisattva persuaded him to take the vows of Buddhism. By the way, the horse is not the one my lord bestowed on me, Taizong said. The color and the coat seem all the same. Why isn't it the same horse? When your subject reached the Eagle Grief stream in the Serpent Coil Mountain and tried to cross it, replied Tripitaka. The original horse was devoured by this horse. Pilgrim managed to learn from the Bodhisattva that this horse was originally the prince of the Dragon King of the Western Ocean. Convicted of a crime, he would have been executed had it not been for the intervention of the Bodhisattva, who ordered him to be the steed of your subject. It was then that he changed into a horse with exactly the same coat as that of my original mount. I am greatly indebted to him for taking me over mountains and summits and through the most treacherous passages. Whether it be carrying me on my way there or bearing the scriptures upon our return, we are much beholden to his strength. On hearing these words, Taizong complimented him profusely before asking again. This long trek to the western region, exactly how far is it? Tripitaka said. I recall that the Bodhisattva told us that the distance was 108,000 miles. I did not make a careful record on the way. All I know is that we have experienced 14 seasons of heat and cold. We encountered mountains and ridges daily. The forests we came upon were not small, and the waters we met were wide and swift. We also went through many kingdoms, whose rulers had affixed their seals and signatures on our document. Then he called out, "Disciples, bring up the travel rescript and present it to our Lord." It was handed over immediately. Taizong took a look and realized that the document had been issued on the third day before the full moon, in the 9th month of the 13th year during the Jingguan reign period. Smiling, Taizong said, "We have caused you the trouble of taking a long journey. This is now the 27th year of the Jingguan period. The travel rescript bore the seals of the Precious Image Kingdom, the Black Rooster Kingdom, the Cart Slow Kingdom, the Kingdom of Women in Western Liang, the Sacrifice Kingdom, the Scarlet Purple Kingdom, the Bikyu Kingdom, the Dharma Destroying Kingdom. There were also the seals of the Phoenix Immortal Prefecture, the Jade Flower County, and the Gold Level Prefecture." After reading through the document, Taizong put it away. Soon the officer in attendance to the throne arrived to invite them to the banquet. As the emperor took the hand of Tripitaka and walked down the steps of the hall, he asked once more, "Are your noble disciples familiar with the etiquette of the court?" "My humble disciples," replied Tripitaka. "All began their careers as monsters deep in the wilds or a mountain village, and they have never been instructed in the etiquette of China's sage court. I beg my lord to pardon them." Smiling, Taizong said, "We won't blame them. We won't blame them. Let's all go to the feast set up in the East Hall." Tripitaka thanked him once more before calling for his 3 disciples to join them. Upon their arrival at the hall, they saw that the opulence of the great nation of China was indeed different from all ordinary kingdoms. You see, the doorway o'erhung with brocade, the floor adorned with red carpets, the whirls of exotic incense, and fresh victuals most rare, the amber cups and crystal goblets are gold-trimmed and jade-set. The gold platters and white jade bowls are patterned and silver-rimmed, the tubers thoroughly cooked, the taros sugar-coated, sweet, lovely butt on mushrooms, unusual, pure seaweeds, bamboo shoots, ginger-spiced, are served a few times. Malva leaves, honey-drenched, are mixed several ways. Wheat glutens fried with xiangchun leaves. Wood ears cooked with bin curd skins. Rock ferns and fairy plants. Fern flower and dried whey leaves. radishes cooked with Sichuan peppercorns, melon strands stirred with mustard powder. These few vegetarian dishes are so-so. But the many rare fruits quite steal the show. Walnuts and persimmons, long ans and lychees, the chestnuts of Yizhou and Shandong's dates, the South's ginkgo fruits and harehead pears, pine seeds, lotus seeds, and giant grapes, fei nuts, melon seeds, and water chestnuts, Chinese olives, and wild apples, crab apples and pyrus pears, tender stalks and young lotus roots, crisp plums and Chinese strawberries. Not one species is missing. Not one kind is wanting. There are, moreover, the steamed milfoils, honeyed pastries, and fine viands. And there are also the lovely wines, fragrant teas, and strange dainties. An endless spread of 100 flavors, true noble fare. Western barbarians with great China can never compare. Master and 3 disciples were grouped together with the officials, both civil and military, on both sides of the Emperor Taizong, who took the seat in the middle. The dancing and the music proceeded in an orderly and solemn manner, and in this way they enjoyed themselves thoroughly for one whole day. Truly, the royal banquet rivals the sage king's. True scriptures acquired bring excess blessings. Forever these will prosper and remain, as Buddha's light shines on the king's domain. When it became late, the officials thanked the emperor. While Taizong withdrew into his palace, the various officials returned to their residences. The Tang monk and his disciples, however, went to the Temple of Great Blessing, where they were met by the resident priests kowtowing. As they entered the temple gate, the priest said, "Master, the top of these trees were all suddenly pointing eastward this morning. We remembered your words and hurried out to the city to meet you. Indeed, you did arrive." The elder could not have been more pleased, as they were ushered into the abbot's quarters. By then, 8 Rules was not clamoring at all for food or tea, nor did he indulge in any mischief. Both Pilgrim and Sha monk behaved most properly, for they had become naturally quiet and reserved since the Tao in them had come to fruition. They rested that night. Taizong held court next morning and said to the officials, "We did not sleep the whole night when we reflected on how great and profound has been the merit of our brother, such that no compensation is quite adequate. We finally composed in our head several homely sentences as a mere token of our gratitude, but they have not yet been written down." Calling for one of the secretaries from the central drafting office, he said, "Come, let us recite our composition for you, and you write it down sentence by sentence." The composition was as follows. "We have heard how the dyadic models which manifest themselves in heaven and earth in the production of life are represented by images, whereas the invisible powers of the 4 seasons bring about transformation of things through the hidden action of heat and cold. By scanning heaven and earth, therefore, even the most ignorant may perceive their rudimentary laws. Even the thorough understanding of yin and yang, however, has seldom enabled the worthy and wise to comprehend fully their ultimate principle. It is easy to recognize that heaven and earth do contain yin and yang, because there are images. It is difficult to comprehend fully how yin and yang pervade heaven and earth, because the forces themselves are invisible. That images may manifest the minute is a fact that does not perplex even the foolish, whereas forms hidden in what is invisible are what confuses even the learned. How much more difficult it is, therefore, to understand the way of Buddhism, which exalts the void, uses the dark, and exploits the silent in order to succor the myriad grades of living things and exercise control over the entire world. Its spiritual authority is the highest, and its divine potency has no equal. Its magnitude impregnates the entire cosmos. There is no space so tiny that it does not permeate it. Birthless and deathless, it does not age after 1,000 kalpas. Half hidden and half manifest, it brings 100 blessings even now. A wondrous way most mysterious, those who follow it cannot know its limit. A law flowing silent and deep, those who draw on it cannot fathom its source. How, therefore, could those benighted ordinary mortals not be perplexed if they tried to plumb its depths? Now, this great religion arose in the land of the West. It soared to the court of the Han period in the form of a radiant dream, which flowed with its mercy to enlighten the Eastern territory. In antiquity, during the time when form and abstraction were clearly distinguished, the words of the Buddha, even before spreading, had already established their goodly influence. In a generation when he was both frequently active in and withdrawn from the world, the people beheld his virtue and honored it. But when he returned to Nirvana and generations passed by, the golden images concealed his true form and did not reflect the light of the universe. The beautiful paintings, though unfolding lovely portraits, vainly held up the figure of 32 marks. Nonetheless, his subtle doctrines spread far and wide to save men and beasts from the three unhappy paths, and his traditions were widely proclaimed to lead all creatures through the 10 stages toward Buddhahood. Moreover, the Buddha made scriptures, which could be divided into the great and the small vehicles. He also possessed the law, which could be transmitted either in the correct or in the deviant method. Our priest Shenzhen, a master of the law, is a leader within the gate of law.